What's up, everybody?
All right, let's check this out.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to
The Tam and Nil commentary.
Provisional showdown.
It's a very
My name is
interesting
Tam, and I'm joined with Nil. Nil, how you doing this morning?
Mix.
Pretty fine here, Tam.
It was a
How
good
are you?
mix.
I'm well. We've got top 8 today. We've got an absolutely amazing game for you. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be fun. And
Interesting, they both have headphones in, right? Like they've got earbuds for Tam and Nil's got headphones.
6 unique characters happening inside of this top 8. And
I would get like super self-conscious if I was like wearing stuff on my head.
Unique, diverse gameplay from our competitors.
Let's take a look at this bracket real
on
quick.
Jiro, Steve Baker on Mineta 2.
Let's take a
Nick
look.
Reagan on Sato.
Oh, it's all darkened because of the pause.
Scott Davidnet on Midnight. Tim Keefe on All Might 3. Nick Grazer
See.
on Jiro. Jeffrey Kahn on Kirish.
Huh. So we're going to get to watch Sato versus Midnight. But the matchup I think I'd actually want to see the most would be Joseph versus Stephen Baker. Because Joseph just did really well on Jiro at the last event, right? That's like that's our new upstart. That's our new up-and-comer. It's the rising star on Jiro. So it would also just be kind of interesting to see, like, you know, can Mineta actually clog the pool to mess up combos from Jiro, right? There could be like some really, I don't know if it's emergent gameplay, but like that's the one I'd be interested to see the most. I expect Midnight versus Sato to just be a stun fest from two guys who like evaluate their hands very aggressively, who look at like the upside of how much pressure I can get from launching big attacks. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm so curious actually how that matchup went, Mineta versus Jiro.
Is the top seed. Got to go first. We heard that he had to mulligan 3 separate times. Looks like we only found 2 foundations.
So Sato got to go first, but did only build 2. Did we get to see? I actually have to back this up already. I'm the worst. Did we get to see what his... No, we didn't. Oh, he only chose... I thought he failed the self-sack. Okay. I thought he failed the self-sack. I was like, do we got 2 checks? No, he only had... Nick only had the 2 foundations. That's all he needs, man. That's all he needs. Alright, I'm probably going to regret this because these are not slow players, but I'm going to speed this up. Or else we would be here all night. Alright, so the 2 build from player 1 versus the 4 build from player 2 with double struggling. So we will have the blocks for long strings, but we only got 1 speed hate. We only got 1 stun hate card. And I was playing at my locals the other night, and I was playing against multiple Wealthy Aspirations decks and stunning into them, and people miss that trigger a lot, or it's like so good on offense, right? You don't want to. Like right here, right? We stun struggling with studies because we're not blocking 5 times anyways. We're not going to be able to afford those, and we want to have that offensive safety. Not to mention for Midnight specifically, who is playable while committed, if I'm not mistaken, it refunds her cost. So we have better uses for Wealthy Aspirations most of the time rather than stun hate. But sometimes you got to recognize when you absolutely need it, when you're actually in danger. Okay, checking a bunch of attacks, getting a big healthy build. The struggling with studies is letting us play this a little close to the hilt, I think. 17 life is a good padding that's gonna, you're gonna be able to block away a decent chunk of those attacks. However, we gotta get some more speed from. I was gonna say, however, it's gonna be really tough for Sato to actually keep the speed on those attacks. So neither of these 2 gentlemen are strangers to the big board states, though. And this is where a lot of decks, especially 6 hand size decks, really really kind of find themselves lost. Like they don't have the card flow to play aggressively here. Because if your hand's half foundations, half attacks, you're probably helping Sato sculpt for next turn by attacking and not pressuring the board, not getting additional stuff, right? The Electric Jolt earlier, super safe because it's guaranteed momentum against this symbol. So against the board state it was into, right? So if you don't have an Electric Jolt, if you don't have something that is going to draw you cards, what are you really getting out of this? We were almost positive Sato had to hold some cards to defend with. Because if you do rip all orange, it's just over on the spot if we play down to 1 card, right? On the other hand, he might have been holding 3 attacks, and you gotta suss those out of his hand and make him block with them. So speaking of attacks that do something no matter what, here's Mr. Cantrip himself, Reciprocal Extend. Yeah, I think now we're at the point where you're going to want to deny every point of damage that you can, simply because the possibilities that your opponent has at their disposal the amount of resources they have might be too much. We're at this stage in the game where we don't really want to find out, We want to fuck around as much as we can, but we don't want to find out. Especially since Sato has made this like a respectable number, Sato has made this something that you don't feel bad about blocking an 8 damage attack. Put the breaker down onto the burst. Commit the speed reset. That's what you want to see, right? That's the hidden win con of a lot of decks, is actually to have Electric Jolt ready to commit your opponent's answers. This is still looking fairly blockable though, right? If we'd wanted to, we could have readied the Wealthy. If we give this attack stun one, I believe Midnight doesn't count printed keywords, so that would be an additional -1. Like it'll get +1 speed if you commit for the cost, but that'll get balanced out by giving it the additional keyword, right? Get to pop the release. And we don't have to do anything until it's, putting us into partial block and die territory. Okay. So it looks like we opted to put only speed, just 6 speed from EX, and get damage purely from Heroic Lineage and like all the other things in our stage. Which I like that play, right? That puts it to the point where there's almost no chance of it being affordable to block this attack. And now, if I'm not mistaken, that's Grasping Tape Toss, which as a throw can become lethal on a partial. Which just like the string, right? 4 diff, 5 diff, 5 diff. Yeah, that's Grasping Tape Toss, the blinged out version. Comes with its own stun. Starts out at 5. It's not looking good. It's not looking super dead though. Yeah, I think this will put us at 1. Yep. And the Jolt while he's at 1. What a line, man. What a line. Now, I'm curious if Nick Reagan planned that whole turn out, right? Because there's tons of card draw that happens during that turn, so it's very possible we didn't have all those pieces set up. But if we had actually masterminded, the exact numbers of, we can put them at 4, and then both of these attacks, even if they're completely blocked, deal 4 together, and then also to have the courage, right, to just check the 5s necessary to get us there. I'm very curious at what point did that turn come together, because if I'm guessing, right, Nick just started off with the Extend because Extend feels good. Extend is like the right play here, cantrip out, get a card out of their hand, see what they're willing to commit to, and then as the turn progresses, right, we get more information, we see what we actually have to work with, and so he gets to filter with the character, he gets to cantrip draw, and he gets to discover what's possible instead of trying to map out every single arcane interaction. So maybe I'll actually ask him about it. Maybe I can hit him up on Discord and be like, hey, do you remember this game from like 4 days ago that was streamed? I don't know about you guys, but I forget I forget everything that happened in a game as soon as it's over. I hold on to like one story that I'm gonna go tell people from game 3 at a contest, right? At a competition. You like go meet up with your friends and you're like, oh bro, you should have seen it. I checked a 6 to block and then he was devastated and double breakered. but like the game that you just played, you're like, yeah, I have no recollection. Alright, so Midnight gets to go first now. Which, again, that 2 build, and then the game just kind of sort of stalled out a bit, right? The game didn't really get going. That's why you don't see a ton of people, even though they may be the best decks in the format, playing slightly slower decks, playing the less like aggro, not sort of all in, because like Nick didn't have to go all in on his first 3 turns there, but that's why like the really hyper aggressive big numbers decks are really really popular, is because if your deck needs a bunch of additional resources and is good late game, you're still giving that really explosive deck multiple turns to put it together. So if you don't have Momo level defense, it's usually not going to work out. And Midnight is very close. Midnight almost having essentially rescue completed on face, access to release. The only thing we don't have is the replacing that foundation, clearing the card pool. That's like a 3-for-1 almost. So ooh, okay. Still getting a really nice build, getting the momentum, getting Jolt. Specifically, we like Jolt. We're very big fans of Jolt when we have Burst in our deck and we are playing against speed resets and or damage resets, but I don't know if we will see Short Circuit. I wouldn't be that surprised to see a Short Circuit in this deck, but a lot of the best attacks are charge attacks. Yep. Okay. Yeah, it looks like, we committed it for the +2 to the check, readied it, then committed it for... Alright. I'm digging this. It's pretty big. It's an opener. Gonna dump our hand, go digging. Like now, if there's ever a time to just have double 1.3 million, this is it. The fact that he's not gravity lifting this, is that a tell that we don't have the gas? I mean, the man's is tapped out. We've got double requesting. 14 damage. That's a double jab and another gravity lift. That's 11 damage. We hate it. We hate it here. Huh. Well, it will pass with the wealthy aspirations, right? We knew we couldn't fail that check whatsoever. But not having actual 8 damage in our hand is super depressing. We are super stacked for next turn, though. So it's going to be pretty tough. Like, we're either going to have to straight up brick, which as Midnight, it's very tough, right? Like, if Midnight plays double jab as the opener and goes discard 5, draw 5, you got a pretty good shot. You got a pretty good chance of not bricking. I have seen it happen, though. I think that they played Jolt and discarded 5 and drew 5 and like full nothing. 5 actual gray cards. So the opener, 1 momentum burst. Not a lot to be learned here, except our hand might be burst, extend, burst. Maybe we just want to filter, right? High block's not really doing it for us. We've seen double jab pummel. We've seen a high throw. Okay. We're going to get to see some more cards, though. Yeah, this could just be like burst, extend, burst. and it's like just barely lethal. But that would pretty much require Midnight to have only high blocks, which we know one of those is a high block. Could also see shock treatment come down. Shock treatment to get rid of a +1 speed, +1 damage enhance. Could be like you don't want to use it on classmate introductions, but maybe that was the call. It's tough to make really drastic decisions like that, like super early on, especially when shock treatment just obliterates his board next turn. Like, it's going to be almost impossible to lose. You know, it's going to be almost impossible not to finish him off with access to 3 momentum and shock treatment itself. We got the speed. It is double high block, and we showed him double high block. Huh? Oh no! And we showed him it's another high block. Oh no! I don't know if this is 17. Okay, so it gets +2/+2. It comes in at 7 damage. It looks like we have a classmate and a self-sack. No, we committed this double self-sack. That's 9. And then we can give it... Yeah, okay, there's a shock treatment. Alright. I think we're living. I think we're surviving. We didn't immediately plus ultra. That's what would have killed them, right? Is if you just immediately hit that plus ultra to double the speed, and then you can discard a momentum to give it 7 damage. Or stun 1, I guess, to get it. Yeah. It is kind of funny that, Oh, we had a hell of 0 dips. Okay. It is kind of funny seeing him run out the infinite potential with so many high blocks, right? And now we're seeing Stronger in Darkness, it's more high blocks. The giant ice wall, more high blocks. It's kind of crazy. That was pretty dangerous. That was pretty close. Luckily, we got that speed hate on our character. So there's a couple different ways to play around burst, even if you don't have the low block. But, oh man, letting him know that you cannot block a burst is spooky. Okay. Staring down, absolutely no foundations in hand. It's gonna be big. Yeah. I'm gonna scoop it up, not waste anybody's time. So far, going first been the big advantage in the 6 hand size versus 6 hand size matchup. It is interesting to see that Sato doesn't necessarily have to pressure the board if you just don't have the right block zones, right? We could discard, our whole hand to try and find some aggression if we play our 1 low block as our attack, and then everything else is a high block. We might still be vulnerable. So maybe we hold a struggling with studies. We've had that out, right, both times, but we're not exactly blocking on the first and second attacks. Like, struggling with studies is so great when you've got all the speed hate and can just block everything, which I'm sure Midnight players are used to doing. But now that we're playing around stun, It might be a little tougher. That's another reason why stun is going to be so popular early format, because you're going to be trying to decipher what's the new best foundations, and they're just going to be sideways. There's so many good stun 2 attacks coming. None of them are as good as Indiscriminate, but you know, everybody's got one now. Some symbols have like 3 now. So they're like full stun 2 water range decks. Alright, we're going to get this early tape toss in. Guarantee some momentum. Prey upon the fact that Chaos has no throw hate yet. I guess it was training with Gunhead, but like, that's like that's like throw dislike. That's not throw hate. Yeah. If you're sending like a 4 damage throw at me, training with Gunhead is actually just a block. Yeah, pseudo throw hate for sure. It is not. It's not real throw hate. I guess I can move the chat up. I actually moved the chat over because I don't want to mess with the card reveal area, but now you can't read it. There we go. What's up, Brandon? I'm just watching Sato face melt another 6-hander. He threw away a tape toss. Damn. I guess tape toss has a bad block and you're probably not... Oh, we had... Okay, well, we just had more, all the kicks, all the durr. Yep. Checks the extend on the extend. This is just such a no breaks deck, right? Like, it's chock full of spam. And it doesn't look like we're playing tape swing. We have no reason to. Everything is just annoyingly statted or is a throw. And the throw you like want to block now because it means you die to burst. And we have a massive hill to climb. 1.3 million in hand, but again, we might need that to block the burst. How many +1 low blocks you got on Chaos, right? It's like basically none. Might actually be 0. And how many of them are playable, right? If one exists and I haven't heard of it, it's probably not super good. It's probably an Ochako attack. Ochako had some good block mods. Home run comment, +1 mid. Why? Why are we chilling on that? That stupid 3 diff is a +2 low, so she probably doesn't have a +1. Oh, Wealthy Aspirations. It is a fucking Ochako card. Yeah, Ochako got all the good shit. And isn't infinite potential? Why does Ochako get all the plus? Alright. Alright. I gotta stop. It's very clear that there's some favorites on the design team. It's very clear. So, it looks like we had Ice Wall, Jolt, and 1.3 million. And so... looking at this board, if we commit ourselves, filter out, this could be 7, 6, that's 13, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total foundations, plus 2 is, so it's 20, 22, plus the 5 from Indiscriminate would be 27. It looks like we have 27 damage showing, so unless we just filtered into another Indiscriminate, I don't think we have it. Sato completely tapped out now, choosing to save the requesting, right? Like they'll just get both stunned out anyhow. So we could have requesting on the last attack, but then we won't have it on a turn if we do survive. A home run comet also just takes it down here. Oh, a gravity lift with double stronger and the speed pump. He put the 1 speed on it. Oh, it's got 2. It's got charge and throw. The 5 high for 8. Exact lethal off the rip. Damn. So we didn't see a home run comet at all there. That was crazy. So Midnight gets to win going second. Yeah, absolutely. I did the same thing in Vegas. I absolutely disrespected a Midnight. I was like, you can't deal 27. I'll just casually sit on my... I had a release. I had just released that I built at the end of my turn, and I'm sitting on like a Faith Shield in my hand, and I can pick up, I think, a Frog Lashing or something. Like, I had a decent block I could pick up, but immediately I got stunned out, and everything got +3 speed, and Home Run Comet was just massive. But this time, we didn't even need that. We just had Stronger in Darkness. Okay, so Joseph rolls over Mineta with Jiro. Tim Keefe playing All Might 3. One of the hardest characters to gauge, because All Might 3 just plays just such solid UFS, right? Just solid universes. Really makes it difficult for you to play solid universes. I think my biggest stance against All Might 3 right now is you just gotta roll with the bonuses. Like, you just gotta let them have the bonuses, you know? You should have speed hate anyway. You should be able to deal with like a +3 speed once, at least. But that deck is pretty weird. It's people waffle on whether or not that character is great or awful. And as attacks give more damage pump to themselves, as we get more like damage pump foundations, I think it's going to be fine. I actually want to play All Might 3 in set 3 with a Chivalrous competitor. So we both draw a card. I love that. Heroic Lineage and All Might 3, we both draw 2 cards. I love that. So I wouldn't be surprised to see All Might 3 be like this, continue to be like this counter meta wall breaker character that doesn't do anything unless it's fighting 7-handers. He fucks on 7-handers so bad. Maybe All Might 3 finds a home as a sideboard character. You're just like, if I play against a 7-hander, I just automatically punish you for having more cards than me. Holy shit, how much? Okay. So this match ended... Oh, it's live, so they can't just jump to another game. Because this ended at... like 57 minutes, right? And then we're going a full hour. A full singular hour before the next game. That's rough. Speaking of set 3, you know if any stores nearby are doing pre-releases. Yes, I do actually. I believe in the Vegas Universes... Oh, I gotta back this up just a little bit. In the Vegas Universes Discord, maybe I can tag you real quick. I believe I know they just put up store provisional data, store provisional info. That should also be accompanied by why can't I not think of the words? Pre-release. Let me see. Official news. Yeah, they were talking about Darkseid on Tuesday. They had mentioned it. I'm sure they'll put the info up on the Vegas Discord. They have the signups for the Provisional Store Championship, and it's going to be on a Tuesday at noon. So, at least that's what I think it was, right? Yeah, the 25th. It's going to be a Tuesday at noon, so it's going to be kind of weird. You're not in that Discord, bro. Do you want to be in that Discord? I can put you in that Discord. Yeah, there's actually nothing. There's no info for pre-releases yet, but I'm sure they're going to be. But if you saw all the news earlier today, distribution for stuff might be a little weird. They might not know exactly when they'll get the kits for it, so. Looks like these guys are scooping up cards. Let me. Yeah, I don't have like all the full details. I've seen some stuff get reposted. Yeah, I don't know if it has anything to do with pre-release at all. So wait, what is happening here? We're cutting. Maybe I should listen.
We see Tim building out 3 or 4, possibly 5, and opting not to look. There's no reason to look. There's no reason to let Def know. This is I'm gonna go next turn.
For sure. But saved got a little destined for mainstream for another turn. Spectre.
We got a 4 build. Opting to commit Kirishima. That makes sense.
Gonna try and build 5. We got it. No, we do not.
They start their first turns.
All right.
And then they're gonna.
So we know
cards
that Kiri 2.
Oh.
Both these decks will be running Back Alley Haymaker. On any symbols that can run it, will run it.
Tim Keefe didn't unside?
And,
is that what I'm seeing?
But we do have some security
Tim
against
Keefe,
that
the
on the side
ultimate
of Tim
honest
Keefe.
man, just
2,
immediately
it can't
when
be
these are
fixed on
supposed to be
board.
my sideboard.
And
And then on
Kiri-
Jeff's side,
my
we've got
God.
resistance, right?
Yeah.
In top 4.
Which feels good.
Brother.
Oh, perfect.
We didn't unside.
Apparently, Tim got a sideboard
my
game
goodness.
loss. Huh.
I figured that had to be it.
How?
Once I actually slowed it down, and I was thinking, what would
Unfortunate.
cause him to scoop a game in top cuts? Like, what would cause
That
it to
has to
just because he
feel
looks
a
away?
Bit bad.
You know, you can tell
yeah,
they're not
that
looking at
bit.
each other.
Hey,
Top
you know,
4.
as a
Oh,
Jeff fan,
That's
a Jeff
so
fan stock is
tough.
going up. We're going up. I am down. Hey, you know, Tim, put
And
another
he
on the
went
sideboard.
first.
I'm
He
here
had
for
such a
it.
good build, right? Like,
Yeah, I think this matchup's going to be hard. I don't need
big
this,
time
this
Timmy
foundation.
Jim.
I'm
Come on,
here
man.
I'm here to build
See,
the other ones.
guys,
The other ones are
it could
good
happen
enough.
to Timmy Two Belts. It could happen to anybody. They're just
I'm gonna
human.
go ahead and
That's crazy, man.
We got a
His board
4
is so
build.
stacked.
Opting to
He's got
commit Kirishima,
double
that
a
makes
campy
sense.
fix so your fucking haymakers can eat shit. Oh, he had destined for
Gonna try and
checking
build
good because
5.
we were always going to check good on
We
our
got
second
it.
card.
No, we do not.
Had some note taking to pressure this piddly little 4 build.
All right.
Oh man.
So we know
were
that
fucking in there
Kiri
too.
2.
I'm pretty.
Both these decks will be running Back Alley.
Oh
turn.
no! If you were gonna beat
Let's
Kirishima
see.
too,
What do we got on the build side here for Kirishima? And do we
you
get
think
to?
So? Well, yeah, double homage. I guess so.
All right.
He's committed though.
So we know
Kiri 2
that
is committed, and he basically
Kiri
just has high
2.
value for blocking. So
Both these
like,
decks
if
will
you
be
had
running
a Super 6
Back Alley
string-
Haymaker. On any symbols that can run it, will run it. And but we
Kirishima
do
2
have
is
some
definitely going to put some
security
pressure on
against
turn
that
2 though,
on
with
the side of
double
Tim
homage,
Keefe.
you're right.
2, it can't
Basically
be fixed
saying
on
I can play
board.
2 attacks almost for free.
And
And then on
Kiri
Jeff's side,
al-
we've got resistance, right?
Oh, that's true. That's true. He
Um,
also has stun hate for back alley. You're right. You're right. Resistance is
feels
also
good.
stun hate. I was thinking about the stun hate, and I'm like,
Perfect.
we would just jam it, force him to flip it early. You know, I don't know if I flip it turn 1 though. Like 27 health
Apparently
against
Tim
all
got a
my. I'll just try to raw
sideboard
block
game
twice,
loss.
maybe, depending on my block mods.
what you mentioned.
That's rough. All right, let's.
I don't think there's anything
let's
that
go
he
back
can't
to warp speed
overcome,
here.
right? I mean, he's a good enough player. I agree with you. He's
See what's going on. Yeah, Homage is sure is a fucker's card. Homage is like that upside card that also draws cards. Like its backup ability, right? Like its card that its ability that I guess it has a hoop of taking damage, but like it's hard to hate on a card that draws a card. Yeah. Yeah, let me get paid for doing something good, which is my least favorite card design of all time, by the way. Like all the most fucking annoying and stupid and like ruins the game, quote unquote, because obviously it's subjective, but the stuff that ruins Magic the Gathering style games for me the most is like enter the battlefield triggers. Because people will always just be like, how do I do this for free? How do I create some loop where like all it has to do is enter? I don't have to pay its cost. And you know, it's little stuff like that. It's always like, oh, I'm gonna get to play a creature anyway. Now it just gets more upside for playing the creature. You know, it's super synergistic, but it's so annoying. It's like making a killing. The card that's like, hey, after you draw a card, respond, draw another card. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Actually, yes, I will. Alright, so we got some chonky stages. We're going to build out some more. The double deadlock threat from All Might, you know, threatening to put this on a clock here. Kirishima has no issues like poking in though, right? Also with a deadlock threat of his own, the pull no punches down at the bottom there. Right, exactly 10 for All Might. We're at, I believe, 9 for Kirishima. 5 on top, 4 on bottom, yeah. Opting to commit, yeah, the 2-0 diffs. We can rebuild the tight-lipped if we really wanted to, right? I don't think we would. We want to get some face-ups, so, you know, we can, like, replace this filter to draw, and then I would assume we would draw from the back alley. Unless this is the turn that we turbo over the deadlock hump. If this is the turn where we go to, like, 15, then sure. But staring at double pull no punches, fucking yikes. And like this is an issue with deadlock too. 2 of our foundations, their whole job is to build us foundations, right? Manly Passionate guy. The closer, like if you're afraid of deadlock and the closer you get to it, the worse foundations like that get, right? But it's really good for when you have a destruction outlet, like a self-sacrifice or something, some way that you can just go down one and then use Manly Passionate guy to replace it. Thank God it doesn't share any symbols with release. Holy shit. One of the most toxic plays I've ever seen was blocking with Precious Lesson in Momo and building it with Manly Passionate guy. Ugh. So much value. Huh. Opting to stay at the 10. Alright. Is this where the game stalls out? See, this is why Deadlock needs to just go away. Deadlock needs to just stop being printed. Because at this point, the players are like, well, I don't have the card draw to overcome the massive advantage that Deadlock ability gives. So we're just going to keep kind of ramming into each other as safely as possible and trading cards in futility until things become overwhelming, you know, until I can absolutely overwhelm that value. Which I guess if there's any character to do it, it's All Might staring at someone who played 2 cards and passed. You know? Like the Kirishima 2, I believe, ended with, like, what, 5 in hand? Played 2, drew 1 off back alley. That would be... Oh, we're going to check only attacks, actually, as Kirishima. Damn. This is also, like, the fastest Haymaker of all time. And we're like, you know what? We're only going to ever get to block one time. Yep. Hit that breaker. Pray to God. We're hitting the breaker button and we're praying because he checked a 3 on the... He checked a 3 on the opener. So if he checks a 3 here, we actually just reverse fortune. Oh. Now you just end your turn so you can block Kirishima strings, right? Like, actually committing 4 for this can't be right. Well, I guess we get to clear with pull no punches, and there's no way we're gonna keep checking attacks. And most importantly, if we just end our turn, this would be boring. And the last thing we want to do is be bored in top 4. Yeah, we're gonna fail this. We're gonna fail this and be a little boring because it's the right thing to do. Oh man, that's so tough. You're like, all right, I'm at 10. I like a game. So this is why deadlock kind of kills the game flow, right? Instead of bringing the game to a conclusion, like we could just build to a point where I can pass those checks and then the game ends, and instead you're rewarding the player who gets to that position. You know, the player who can, whether they attack or not, where they just build and defend or not. And so instead we're just going to be stuck at 10 to 10 because now Kirishima doesn't want to build to 14 and hold 2 in hand. Kirishima doesn't, you know, if Kirishima wants to attack, like he'll get to replenish foundations and stuff, but, you know, dealing 30 all at once just to leave themselves open. See? What can we do? Somebody printed a rare with a sick deadlock ability and it's non-unique. And so we have to sit at 10 because it is just statistically the right thing to do. Like, people talk about, oh, we'll just build over it. Don't be afraid of deadlock. But, like, you have to have the card advantage to be able to get there. If you don't have, like, the ability to draw 2 cards on your turn, if you don't have the ability to, like, get to 8 cards, yeah. So there you go. Oh, he built 1 into deadlock? 1, 2. Oh, because he had the high value stacked up. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, man. It's like he could not... Still, though, because he didn't have access to 8 cards, like total, like an 8-card thing, right? He couldn't get up to that 14 number, that 15 number where we start to realistically overcome some of the deadlock bonuses, right? And then on top of that, the 8, like the reason I'm saying 8 cards in your hand is because you want to build from 10 to 14, and then you still want to be able to block 4 attacks. You still want to be able to have like 1 of each zone and a repetitive and or special block, usually a mid block with breaker, right? Or you have like a faith shield and then every zone covered. You feel pretty safe. So like without access to that to start with, and he checks another attack? God damn. So like without 8 cards to start with, you probably don't ever get to build into deadlock realistically. It's just going to be very tough. Yeah, Manly Passionate guy, right? Is that the one? Or were you talking about Homage, which we haven't seen? So it has to be Manly. Yeah, it's the only one out. Yeah, Manly Passionate guy, just like it clears your card pool, which is sick, but it puts you right back into deadlock. Oh, we're just going to build a 3rd pull no punches and pass? Damn. So the good news is we are out of deadlock. Well, the bad news is our opponent is an 8 hand-sized character still at 30 life. Oh. Judge coming in with the -3 speed there. Thank you, Judge. Now we can tell it is it has been specialist of sounded. Yep, so we're gonna have to see if All Might can survive through pull no punches on Kiri's turn here. Oh no, he's at 10. 3, 6, 9, 10. He was at 9 and had the camp. Okay, I can dig it. Oh, we were at 10 and then we self-sacked. Okay. I was wondering why we had 2 extra cards committed, and I thought we were. Alright. I get it now. Yeah, so 2 mid for 6. We're going to gladly block with this non-attack card, because foundations are not how we win the game. Attacks are how we win the game. Ooh, yep. And now we're finally going to build out. We're going to hit the 13 number, which is okay. One of them's an apathetic. One of them is a brute strength, and one is an homage. Literally the 3 things that Brandon Jones just pointed out that we don't have. Oh, man. Have you seen this? I said no spoilers. Have you seen this, Brandon? I said no spoilers in the title. So setup strike here, right? One of the, like, does exactly what it says on the tin. Sets up for your next attack. Choosing pretty much always to give the speed to pressure the board here. And I have to imagine we're flipping a pull no punches. Oh, okay. Was that a celebrity status? So we can't okay. Alright. I can dig that, I guess. Your board's gonna get fucked on anyways by having 2 copies left. Celebrity status being pound for pound the best way to use momentum when you've got the card draw in your face. So I can respect that. I can see that play. You know, that's at level 1 to level 2 difference, right? Like, my autopilot is like, fuck this deadlock threat, get rid of it. Obviously high impact. But the level 1, you know, the level 2 up from that whatever level it ends up being, once you get past the autopilot, it's okay. It's not actually pull no punches, it's celebrity status. But now that we just drew random cards instead of the one in our momentum, now we're gonna wish that we actually just hit the pull no punches. Oh my goodness. Jeffrey Kahn cannot check a 5 to block ever. Not a single time. Actually never. So this block is on a 10. So the 2 high values brings us up to 7, 8, 9. One more makes 10. And then we will build this down, which will lessen a little bit of the stun hate. Clear our card pool. I don't hate it. We're still getting, like, what, plus 6 speed and stun 3 on everything? Choosing what to destroy, what to replace. Make everything fast as possible. More stun and more stun and more stun. Now, do we have another foundation that we can block with? I don't think so. Yep, discard for the next one to get +4. They're all missiles. Oh, another +1 high. Man. Interesting. Win for that one even though we can't block it. I think the speed from pull no punches just actually gets us there now, right? After all this stun, we're going to have to start pumping damage to fight through Kirishima's response. Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, we have 6 ready. That's 2 more attacks. Unless it's a haymaker right here. I'm curious what the momentum will get used for. We didn't want to celebrity status it back. And unless it's EX for haymaker, I doubt Tim Keefe is playing Detroit Smash. That would be kind of tight though. Not gonna lie, that would be a little hype. It is a back alley, so we probably will be EXing. Committing the celebrity status to really, hammer that home, right? Getting the big stun, stun everything, stun, stun, stun. It's all of the stun. Stun it all. We're down to 1 card in hand, so All Might 3 has done its job. All Might 3's job is not to give stats to attacks. It's to encourage you to get rid of your hand while making unblockable attacks in deadlock. Because 8 hand size and 30 health is going to let you live through 10 foundations most of the time. If you're committed to playing a temperate game and just, building out, drawing on your opponent's turn, you have speed hate available, you have resets available, you'll probably get to push people to deadlock. One of the very few repeatable deadlock effects, especially on a non-unique foundation. And then on top of that, the only other one I can really think of that's similar to pull no punches is back-to-back, which I think it's it has to be a ranged or ally attack, and then it only gets 1/1, and the other effect is nowhere near as good as pull no punches. So if Tim Keefe, he chose not to build, there's no way he doesn't have a 0 div. Huh. Oh my goodness. We didn't have 11 damage? That's a little surprising to me, not gonna lie. After all that card draw, and we could have recurred another attack. I mean, he's still at full health, right? He's still at full health. He's still sitting on specialists. He still has a damage reset. And he's totally stacked if Kirishima doesn't just brute strength everything out of deadlock. We're probably still just set up to run a train with +6 speed stun 3 on everything. But I really thought he would have had the gas there. Huh. No, we almost certainly picked up an attack. Oh, we had another one. It's okay. We're going to pick up the apathetic now. It's fine. We're going to pick up the apathetic now. Yep, Tim Keefe looking at that deck before it cycles. Oh, the Deku card. I see what you mean. New training method. Yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah, I mean that's fair, right? Especially since having a committed face down, you don't care. But apathetic, that's one way to neutralize this deadlock. Like if Kirishima just flips all three of those pull no punches, we're gravy. We're ahead on build. We can block everything again. Like even through All Might's stat pumps, like we'll be fine. So like that would be my priority. Would be trying to get 3 apathetics out. He's shown that he's not down to recur the momentum, right? Like I guess he might next turn. I guess there's no guarantee that he won't again. Ooh. Giggle's not having the best check luck, which is probably new for him, I believe. Definitely not having the easiest time navigating these control checks. Our board is almost completely defensive except for brute strength and for homage. Yeah. Okay, so we blow up the apathetic. Interesting. All right. We're gonna put this here. We're gonna draw another attack. I mean, All Might 3 is not necessarily safe, right? We chose to block 1. We got rid of our deadlock threat, meaning that we're probably fairly committed, right? Tim has shown that he's willing to dance around deadlock to not dive into it, and he has the ability to punish it anyway, so we probably just want to end the game now while we have a few extra resources on him, and he's, trapped at under 10. After this turn, he's probably not going to be afraid to build into deadlock. So it's not like he's going to have to attack back. Yeah, okay. Alright, this is interesting. Because we had 11 damage, almost exactly. And we would have had to destroy pull no punches to utilize it. Okay, I see why. I see why we didn't go for it. We did have the attacks, but the sequencing, we wouldn't have gotten all of that juicy speed later on because we would have lost our deadlock enhance to clear the card pool to make it possible to pass these checks. So he did have the gas. We just didn't have 14 foundations to end the game with, because we had to put a big stop sign up for deadlock. Oh, and the build out, and then the cycle. We're just gonna skip through all the shuffling. One of the beauties of replay. Huh. Alright. The classic back alley, check a Texas smash. That is one of the most common plays I've seen in this card game. So now the boards are big, but there's still like a lot of face downs, a lot of useless cards, right? Yeah, he could have definitely blocked the airstream, right? Like, you wouldn't have had anywhere near as much speed for the heroic, which, if we play that first, he gets to clear the stuff, right? He gets to clear cards out of the hand, and then, yeah. And also, it's just like mega risky, right? Like, you guys have both been not checking the best, and if you just run 2 3s out into it and he blocks on the 5, you're just auto dead. So ooh, I love the celebrity status here. Big fan of the old celeb status on this one. One of my favorite combos that I probably should have played more in set 1. I think like if you look at the skill level as like a parabolic arc kind of a thing, right? Where it's like I do what feels good, I do good plays, I do what feels good. Like, you know, the beginner just does what feels good. Then you try to make informed decisions. Then the master just does what feels good again because they're experienced. I think the hardest hurdle to get over is knowing when you're safe, or at least having the courage to pass the turn, you know, to not just try to go, oh, well, I can just check good and he can just have bad block zones. Like, it feels so bad to pass the turn when you have attacks in hand and your opponent just has the nuts and kills you. Like, there's too many turns where players have potential lethal, but they have no clue the odds of it actually being lethal. They're not doing the math on the likelihood of it actually winning the game or not. They just know that they have a chance to win the game and it can just all be over. Oh. This is how JJ beat me in Pasadena, by the way. Sending 10 speed mid for 10 back alley haymakers. I don't even think I got to deadlock. He just had small and limbers out. He just had like a hella small and limber and like self sacks. I don't even know if I was in. I know I was in deadlock at one point for like one enhanced step. Okay, all right. The setup strike into the Texas. Call that the 2021 combo. Oh my. Man. Well, we are going to get that game 3, it looks like. Just just really bottlenecking the resources. Just at a certain point, right? It's like we played around pull no punches, but just a little too late. By the end of it, it wasn't that relevant anymore. But our health total just denied us the opportunities. All Might 3 is such a tough character to play against. It feels like a character where the right thing to do is to throw away blocks early just is so tough. Let's skip our sideboarding here. So Kirishima is going to go first. And I think this will be the first time Kirishima goes first. So it'll be interesting to see how the pace changes. Because so far, we didn't really get a game 1. And then we got the deadlock hoedown, right? Where one deck was able to just sort of dance around it and continue to thrive and to flourish off of its character-based draw. But the other deck kind of had to dip its toe in the water and get punished for it. Really get snapped back to reality until we had that brute strength, right? And by then it was just too late. Doesn't help that Earth's speed hate is kind of ass. That's true. That's very true. Its speed hate is kind of ass, but that's okay because it has everything else, including a million foundations. Alright, the big slam. He went second and mulliganed all 6. Yeah, I think All Might is like my take on All Might 3 through sets 1 and 2, at least through the beginning, was like a real gatekeeper. Like as a newer player, playing against All Might 3 probably just feels impossible, right? And like the important word there is feels. It's so not normally what you want to do. And that's the same thing that Kirishima 1 and Momo do really badly is, you know, they really make you consider, what am I going to get for playing these cards? You know? Where's the value at in all of my attacks? Is the value in Harden Chop that you discard a card? Or is the value in Harden Chop that it's a 4 difficulty attack that's going to deal typically 7 damage? You know? Its value is also that it combos Texas Smash. So, I do love the double review, though, from Tim Keefe here. We get the partial block, you know, teasing, seeing if it's going to be like a long string turn. We discard another attack that's probably not blocking anything. And now we find out that it is going to be a string turn. Okay, now this is disrespectful. I'm sorry. I don't hate the play. It's almost certainly the right play, but that's just fucking disrespectful. Please block this. Thank you. Fuck. That is... You're gonna fucking send a +4 hardened jab at this man? Oh my goodness. You really thought that was gonna deal damage? Well, or not get blocked at least. Man, that's one of my least favorite plays is the really late string hardened jab that's just for a million. That's just hoping you've used all your good block mods and block zones already. Oh, and the breaker too. Okay, alright. You know, I mean, our whole stage is face down though. And we're committed out. Oh, and we get to peek. Alright. So this is like one of those games where nothing's really going wrong just yet, but nothing has really gone right for us. These are like the games that Kirishima really thrives on, I feel. Kirishima 2, like, squeaks that advantage in on you where, like, he gets to just sort of play at, like, a normal pace. He doesn't need, like, a huge high roll, low roll kind of a thing. He just needs you to not have a low block for Harden Chop and, you know, be tapped out for Texas Smash. And he can rely on that response to punish you for not having, like, an exceptional turn or an exceptional staging area both. So getting to bottle... That's why I see him as, like, an aggressive mid-range. I don't see him as, like, this wall deck. But he can play that late game, of course. Because we don't have traditional turn-based archetypes. Grab the It Can't Be Fixed because stun is a little prolific in this matchup, right? Speaking of prolific stun, here's another stun too. Damn. Yeah, we're not going to be blocking a ton of stuff. And -1 damages might be necessary to stay alive just for one more turn, but... dealing 27 on limited resources is not going to be great, right? Kirishima can, like, play down to 2 cards pretty easily off the back of his response. And without, with the Texas Smashes we've seen, right? We've seen one checked, we've seen one played. We know we're not going to get, like, quadruple smashed in one turn. Speaking of, okay. Alright, we'll just... Alright, yeah, so we're not getting Texas Smashed out of the game. Oh, don't tell me a jab does it. Literally anything but a jab, please. Please kill him with the next attack. There's no way this 3-speed jab does it. Oh, I hate that so much. I hate late string hardened jabs so much. It's like, hey, you didn't block these first 2 mid attacks. I guess a jab is good. Oh, please give All Might one more turn. This is painful. No! Another mid attack! You've got to be kidding me. He played 4 mid attacks. In Kevin Broberg's hometown. No. No. I hate that so much. Oh my god. I'm having so much PTSD of every fucking hardened jab played on a 9 I've lost to. Oh my god. I'm losing my mind. He fucking slammed a 4th mid attack. Oh, it's so painful. It's actually so painful. I was just listening to Devin Bernier like a week ago talk about this is the end of the video for okay, they're coming back. There's two videos. Oh my. I was talking to Devin Bernier like a week or two ago, and he was like man, I'm gonna get like I get so far by just playing 0 mid attacks. Like he's just gonna play only off zone attacks regardless of like what statistically the best effect would be, you know, and just get so much value off never throwing a mid ever that you get to breaker 2 completely. You don't get to use your special mid blocks. Like cheerful uppercut no longer completely blocks anything, and seeing this deck like steamroll over just off the back of stun 2, it really makes you think, is British Swagger gonna be like super meta relevant, right? Is British Swagger just gonna be the 4th mid attack that you play after 2 back alleys, and you just, alright man, here's stun 6, 4 speed. I hope you are checking 5s and have +1s, you know, hope you have speed hate that can be played while committed, right? Oh man. Oh, I like that he checked like ass and still got it because everything generated a ready foundation. Yep, that is the actual strength of the Kirishima cards, man. That's also my least favorite, actually. Oh, Hardened Chop wasn't mid. I'm full of shit. He blocked with a mid on the chop, or was that the turn before? No, that was before. I was gonna say I think he played only mid attacks the whole game, but then I remembered there was a Hardened Chop Texas Smash turn. So, gosh, that is so annoying. More power to him, though. Oh man, it was not looking good, right? Like neither player was checking super well, and it wasn't looking super good. But then just the pure inertia, the actual sheer value of ramping, you know, all these cards are actually 1 less difficulty than they look. You know, Hardened Jab actually a 3 difficulty card. You know, most of the time. Sometimes I guess you play it and it picks up a ready face down, but those are games you're probably not going to win anyway. If you're playing the jab to start things off, you're either picking up a win condition or you're rebuying foundations. Oh man, I hated that. I got no hate for the player or the deck. I just hate seeing so many mid attacks just get there. I hate to see Hardened Jab do so much damage. You know, it's just so funny. Like the rhetoric from our game, right, is like jab is the most blockable attack, and I've seen people say to stop playing jab because it's just gonna like cycle you a resource, but eat ice storms. And like if you're playing it after a whole bunch of back alley haymakers, maybe eating an ice storm is the best thing it can do. Maybe that's the right attack to eat an ice storm on. Oh man. Alright, who we got next? Who's up next? Are we doing this game in progress? This is the next one, okay. Oh, this is 24/7 belt? Huh. Oh, I guess this was like a Rochester side event sort of a thing. Because it's not the unfun stuff 24/7 unofficial world championship, I don't believe. I think that's still Brandon Wagers. Finals. So we got Midnight versus Whoa, we got Midnight. I thought it was going to be Jiro for sure, actually. Man, I really wish they had Joseph on stream, man. He's, if I'm not wrong, I could be wrong. I'm terrible at names. But that's the player that got second place versus Tam, right? Who just started playing like at Gen Con or something. Oh, Dan Hughes was there. Good for him. Glad to see he's involved. That's pretty cool. Huh. Man. I wonder if we'll ever see the Dan Hughes character. That'd be really cool. Yeah, I definitely, man, I would have really liked to have seen Joe on stream, just because, like, to me, that's the hot ticket, right? Like, love Scott, saw him on stream earlier, you know. We got his game instead, right? But, like, I want the new blood. Also, the Staff Strike Jiro's, like, a super fan favorite, so if that's the build. Ooh, speaking of the build, we went for the 6 there. Not quite getting it. I think Kirishima going first matters a ton in this matchup, but I could be wrong. He might win the game 2 going second, but... Oh, he did swap to Air Jiro? Okay, yeah. So there was no guarantee that that's what the build was. That's interesting. Huh. Yeah, I guess I didn't even look to see if... Look, no hate for Giggles, but I don't need to wish that Giggles checks more 5s, okay? The first time I met Giggles, they were playing Ryu in Atlanta. So, checking not a 5 was not on the menu for that event. I like how we went from, like, I like that he checked, like, ass and still got it, to can he please check a 5? That was very quick. We spun around very quick. That's what that's what my hero really needs. We need a 50, or I guess 49, or I guess it's 50. It's just actually 50 cards. We need a 50 attack deck. You could play like Blue Twisting Azure, and like, I guess you could play actions. Playing actions wouldn't be so bad, right? Oh, you could just play Kirishima stuff and build attacks face down. There you go. New training method is only to pick up Faith Shield. That's my hot take. I don't know if that's how Giggles actually sees it, but that's my best guess. Is Fate is like he has like a priority that he's looking for, and it's Homage and Faith Shield. Those are the two I think we're prioritizing. Also, new training method is just cheating. New training method is just actually fucking cheating. When I played on the life symbol, I am almost exclusively grabbing Faith Shield with it. Like when I played it in Toga, it was like Excited for Blood sometimes, Faith Shield on my opponent's turn always. Yeah. You're playing on the good symbol? Yeah, on the good symbol, I think new training is just picking up... yeah, it's just picking up +1 blocks, right? Picking up Deadlock Threat. You can pick up Pull No Punches, but yeah, you don't have like an automatic target. Like, I know before I sit down two cards I really want to just add to my hand with new training. I think on the good symbol it would just be it would just be reactive, like reflexive +1 block pickups. Pick up self sack, pick up bonds of friendship, pick up. I guess I don't have a +1 mid yet. I did pick up a tight lipped every once in a while, so there was that. You weren't playing harden chop in your deck, right, Tim? Because I also think new training method looks really good with harden chop. Because if you check a 5, pick up a 5, and then chop it away, he just chopped it away face up, right? So like literally, we could have just flipped it at some point. But it's tough. It's a tough card to use. The timing for it. Oh, that's that's what got the game loss. Oh, that does feel bad. Speaking of feels bad, man. So Giggles will not actually ever check a 5-2, play a back alley haymaker. Will that matter? Probably not. It probably will not actually affect things whatsoever. Alright. So we got -4 speed, but we're just going to give it +4 speed back because EX was thrown onto this card at the last second. And you might say to yourself, giving it that 4th keyword makes it bad into midnight, but the fact that the 4th keyword it got was EX makes it just fine into midnight, actually. I do think we have the breaker. Yeah, we have the breaker. We got the breaker. We did check a 3, though. So, if Giggles attacks again and checks a 3, it's actually a 1. But there's no way we could check another attack, right? Like, you just play 0 diff and then a fucking chop? Like, or I guess he's only got 1 card in hand. It would have to be like a jab. Yeah, 0 diff? Nah, alright. Almost. Almost. We had the 0 diff for the 3 check, though. That's a real champion move. To know you're going to check 3 3s in a row. Alright, so 13 to 27. You're not going to just get in there with indiscriminate. You're probably not going to land a home run comment of any value right now. Committing to give speed to pokes doesn't feel great. Pillar swing might get you something here. Alright. Double frozen is good. Double frozen's not bad. 3 cards in hand. Midnight can filter. Struggling can rebuy some stuff. So I guess if I'm, and this is without any knowledge of the deck list. Oh, Frenzy feels so bad to block, right? I guess what I'm really hoping to have here is Cheerful Uppercut. I would much prefer this be a mid attack that is starting out. I'm down to full block this, though. You know, you only get to pick this back up with jab, and if I do have an uppercut, damn, another 3. And we don't have momentum for requesting. That sucks. And he had the jab, but okay, so like if he has the jab to pick it up, right, and we do have the Cheerful Uppercut, then we do get to clog the pool on this one and pick it back up with Struggling with Studies, so I'm totally fine with this play. I am more concerned, right, with my health total than anything, and if you just don't have the jab, then we get, like, that's the only, well, I guess there's Texas Smash. Man, I'm always so down to block frenzies because people never expect it. And the only time I ever get punished is if they have Texas Smash, so. We do have a mid block, but it's not a super fancy special mid block. We can pick the high block back up with Struggling, though. So it still doesn't feel terrible, right? We still have a high block for this Texas Smash, but we're going to be limited to the block zones that we have. And now this will be interesting here. Do you pick up the +2 mid to clear the difficulty for the rest of your blocks for the turn, or possibly you only have that one high block, right? And you know that there's a frenzy. Do we just block with the progressive difficulty and then pick up another high block? Because I think that's how this goes. Yeah. Another 3? Yo, what is in the water in Rochester? What the fuck? Oh, no. It's a low. It's a low attack. So is the last card in our hand a low block? Interesting. We're going to get that filter out. It's going to become fucking huge. It's at, I'm guessing, 12, actually. And then Homage makes it 13, right? Because it's like 4 low for 6, I'm pretty sure, base. And then +2 from Kirishima. And then +1 from Homage. So we pick up the mid block. It's probably not a low in our hand. Oh, man. Which means a second low attack will do it. Or if we pick up this mid block and then we play Frenzy and it's a second mid block, that's still some pretty good damage, right? Like if you partial both, you'll take 7 and 3 and then you're at 3. And Frenzy only has 2 keywords, right? Fury, Kick. It's not looking good. You could also just pull up at this point. If he partials this and you just build out and you're just chilling 27. Another attack. Somebody save these men. Please. Just please. Please. So if he checks a 3 here, he can't block it at all, right? Like oh no, man. Ooh, what if it's plus ultra? Plus ultra on a 7? Let's go. Oh, he's got 3 foundations ready. Okay. We will reduce the speed. That makes sense. Taking no chances. 3 high for 6. +2 progressive. Effectively 5 high. Had another high breaker. We live in. Okay, I see you. 27 still nearly impossible to do, but, you know. So we did have the double high. We had absolutely no low blocks, which is super scary. But being able to partial the low attack made all the difference there. Well, I guess it wasn't lethal. Oh, no, he did make it lethal, though. Homage, yeah. Yeah, so being able to pick up that mid block, super important. But we're now out of tricks. Right? Like we don't have anything on our board. There's nothing to rely on. If we want to attack and poke and filter, like, you know, we're not going to get any kind of real mileage from stun attacks, I don't think. With double, it can't be fixed. Super regen, it's actually 30 life. Yeah. Yeah, like we get to rebuild a zone change and a struggling, which makes the high blocks in our hand look really good. But this is like a hand that gets completely annihilated by Hardened Chop. Okay, well, I was about to say it. I was about to say Hardened Chop, and he beat me to it. We probably have the low block here. But the amount of filter and stringing that Kirishima can do. Like, double Chop just fucking smokes our opponent. We only have access to 4 cards total, so we'd have to like block this one, play another attack while they have 1 card in hand, and then the third attack would have to be like a chop. After, well, we'd have to wait till they pick it up. I guess you can sequence around this, but oh man, you have to block this. You have to put something on this. Chop is a fucked up card. Almost as fucked up as fucked up as checking a 3 on every block. Man, this can't feel good, right? We checked 3 attacks to block 3 times in a row like a couple turns ago. And so For what it's worth, Giggles is checking pretty much as many threes. But it's okay, because literally every single fucking attack in his deck builds him a foundation, and so does his character. Okay, we had a high block. So now... Yeah, so like Chop just chewed away. Now, if we have a low attack, we know we win. If we have a way to seal that, we actually win, but I don't think Earth has that yet. I keep thinking he's gonna play something like fucking Airstream Driver. Oh my goodness, bro. We played the Block Zone Lottery, and we found out. Still, 27-2, you get to throw that out. You actually get to do that. So. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Looks like we are in deadlock for Kirishima, but like, what deadlock threats does Chaos really have? You know? What deadlock are we really afraid of coming from Chaos? It's mostly like +5 to your check. You know, you'd have to actually draw like 6 attacks for things like double jab pummels, deadlock to be super relevant. You know, you'd have to sequence it very carefully around like breaker. Like if you wanted breaker to matter, pretty much. But other than that, I don't think there's really any other deadlock. Like, I don't expect Midnight to be playing Zero Gravity Capture or whatever, the 3-diff. That one has deadlock at a momentum to your hand, but we don't have momentum. And it starts at 0 speed, which is really bad in this for a Midnight-style deck, usually. Oh, that doesn't feel good. Playing another high block while we have infinite potential out. I'm wondering if Scott just said, look, I have 30 fucking high blocks. I'm just going to jam some more with infinite potential, and we'll just see how that goes. Sitting on struggling with the infinite potential is also super interesting because of the timing on it, right? Here, let me fast forward through the cycle. Cut, cycle, good. Well, let's see what he cycles, I guess. Chops, frenzies. All right. Got 3 or 4 attacks. Oh, it's another chop. It's another 3 check. Oh my. I'm getting deja vu out here. I've seen this turn a million times. I have seen this turn now. I have lived this turn for eons. Interesting. So we didn't change the zone on this, so we almost certainly got the low block for once. Having the extra card, like Chop's not as devastating this turn as it was last turn, just because we have the 1 extra card, right? Oh, we're gonna check an attack to block again. Why? Someone free me from this orange prison, please. Please free me from this bad checking fiasco. What a veteran move to hold that 0 gravity lift, though. How many people are holding this 0 gravity lift in Scott's shoes this late in the game, right? How many people are not just going to go, oh, well, I should put this in my momentum for a more explosive play later, but, you know, having the extra card, another 3 check, Jesus. Having the extra card to block with, to discard with, to play around Chop, might be what mattered. I assume that last one is still a high block, though. Yeah, we're going to pick up a mid block. I assume that the last card is a high block if we discarded a high block to harden Chop and still have infinite potential. But, you know, there's no guarantee of that. And wheeling cards randomly on midnight, not the smartest play. But at this point, right, If you play an attack against me and I'm Scott DeJarnette, I'm playing Midnight, I am just discarding 2 cards and drawing 2 cards because the odds that their attacks is apparently 100%. Like, you have some hidden passive that at the start of your turn, the top 2 cards in my deck are always going to be attacks. Like, this is purely hand taxing, right? We don't have board pressure. We don't really get to play the block zone lottery because of infinite potential and because of struggling with studies to give us back the blocks that we wanted. So we're not really looking for, do you have the right zones anymore and things like that. We're looking for, do you actually have, oh my god, he checked another attack? I'm going to lose my mind. I'm actually going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind. Oh, yeah, so like, right, so where was I? We are at a purely hand taxing point in the game. And so if you can look and see, okay, my opponent has the ability to block Harden Chop plus 3 other, like 4 attacks even through Harden Chop. You know, we're just trying to deny Sculpt at this point is my best guess, because it's either that or we're trying to fish, right? Like, we do get to cycle with Back Alley, with Kirishima Enhance, right? Like, Jab gets to give us back stuff we want. So you gotta have a reason to attack if you're not mathematically guaranteed to deal lethal. You know, you got to have other things that you're looking forward to get, and being able to deny a 0 gravity lift might have been huge, but like at this point I don't know what Scott could possibly be looking for except like an actual 4 to 6 attack, like double jab into multiple indiscriminates kind of a turn, because 1 bomb doesn't get you there, 2 bombs doesn't get you there, 3 bombs still doesn't cut it through Kirishima's response, and that's assuming they all go unblocked. Huh. Yeah, these are the vice grip turns. So like, we have a decent chunk of orange. I think at some point you got to take a chance. You have actually the mill plan. We could be looking at the mill plan, right? We're counting. What if you just blocked everything? There's no throws in this deck. Scott, give in to the mill. Just mill him. Just block everything, Scott. Just play the jolt, pass, block everything. Become immune to Harden Chop by holding 5 cards in your hand every turn. He might just counted all the chops too, right? Like, if he just counted all the chops, then he can like force Kirishima to actually play like 5 to 6 attacks to kill him if he manages to get all the right zones. And once you're playing like 5 or 6 attacks, I guess it could be like the block zone lottery at 2 life, but I think we're purely at a hand taxing point. Like, we have to actually just have 1 more attack than you have cards in hand. Okay. We do want this jolt pretty bad. We're going to check. It's a Rochester thing, man. It's got to be because Sean O'Brien made his, like, primary colors orange for Rochester CCG that all the players just only check orange. That's got to be it. It's that Rochester curse. Yeah, super regen. We're fine with this. We go down to 26. What are the odds? Can someone actually do this math for me? Can someone actually look at these deck lists and like, just because you'd have to account for all the cards in hand and all the cards in stage and like already in discard, but like, what are the fucking odds, man? At least we get +5 to our check because of deadlock. If he remembers to use that enhance, because I never remember to use it. Yep, stun out the brute strength. That makes sense to me. Only 3 cards left in our hand. They don't ever equal 26 damage. No. Come on, man. What am I watching? What is this? What cruel fucking game is this? The man has only checked attacks. Every time someone plays an attack or blocks, it's a 3 check. Like, what? Imagine a world where you just actually check well. Wait, is he? Huh. Oh, he's got the stronger in darkness is. Also, the fact that he still committed things for that tells me that he didn't use the deadlock enhance, right? Like, did he commit real quick when he checks the 3 here? Where is it? This is on an 8, and he would have checked a 10 with the deadlock. So did he actually? Okay, he didn't actually commit anything. He did use it. Cool. Because I thought we were committing stuff, but we're actually just blowing things up. We're actually just destroying stuff for Frozen. Okay. So we did get the deadlock enhance. Yeah, the one time I've ever been in deadlock with double jab, I just completely forgot. Yeah, so this is 17, 23, 24, which is a clean cut to 12 half, which means a second indiscriminate gets us there that we don't have because God hates us, because the only 5s we were ever going to check we drew. And now we're at 2 with 2 cards in hand. Kirishima has 8 more billion foundations. And it's not looking good. I'm going to fast forward through Giggles arranging his fucking stage. Jeez. Please play hard and chop so this guy can scoop. Alright, we do have the mid block. Alright, yeah, he just shows him 2 more attacks. And we can move on. Because that's the name of the game at that point. He's got 3 attacks, you have 2 cards in hand. Bada bing, bada boom. We took a push. We went to go, like... I'm not saying it's likely that he actually gets to block and mill him out, but that's pretty much exactly how you expect a turn where you try to push in to go. You know, you had the deadlock effects, he had the face shield for the first jolt. Jolt's committal effect's not really going to save you this late in the game, you know. But he did try. He did give it the old college try to deal some damage, but I think at that point you're just looking at it and going, look, you cycled first, right? Like, you have a bigger remove from game pile than me. You draw more cards on average than me. Cards go through your deck, in and out of your deck faster, right? So at that point, I think you just got to switch gears and be like, I haven't seen a throw yet. I've seen all the chops by now. Like, I can at least wait till you cycle one more time. You know, there could be a point through cycling where your opponent statistically just can't draw more than 3 attacks in a turn, even as Kirishima. And at that point, you can just win by blocking if they don't have throws, if they don't have jolts, you know, if they don't have guaranteed damage or burn effects. And that's the one thing Kirishima, I guess, kind of has it going against him, or that's like the one thing that, you know, the deck doesn't do super unfair, is that it ramps like a motherfucker, but it doesn't play evasive attacks. It doesn't play attacks that, like, its most evasive attack is what? Harden Chop? It's got, like, block punishment, yeah, but it doesn't have tape swings or throws or, you know, attacks that are like, well, if you block this one, the next one gets double damage or whatever. I don't think that exists in this format, but I'm just saying. You know, it's not like a or it's not like a Tokoyami deck where the Crow and Frogs just hit you because you have to save your high blocks, you know? Alright, sideboarding, shuffling, Midnight goes first. I'm gonna pile shuffle because it's top cuts. Why would you not? One more. Alright, we got a mulligan coming in. Scott keeps the second hand. Man. Alright, get the double cut. Thumbs up. We're ready to go. Game 2. Midnight on the play. Midnight looking to establish some card advantage, right? Like, it's so tough. It's so tough. Like, if you're not playing passing the torch symbols, if you're not playing cantrip attacks, you really got to rely on these massive, just stat stick style attacks. And even though Kirishima has filter, he doesn't have like tons of pure card advantage. Like jab kind of counts, right? But there's no guarantee that that's picking up like attacks or stuff that you're really looking for. And so because of that, he has like that big Texas Smash stat stick kind of a thing. Both decks looking to really just kind of stun you out and gun you with like a fairly long string. I'm trying to think of deadlock threats Midnight might have, because I feel like if Midnight could keep Kirishima under 10 foundations, while it wouldn't allow for the gigantic 1.3 million volts, I think it would make the speed pump much more relevant to keep him at 10 instead of letting him go to 14, 15, 16, whatever. Especially since Kirishima was doing that while poking you down, right? While chipping away at you. While getting momentum for that EX on Back Alley Haymaker, which, you know, you're down. Like, when I talked to Matt Childress on our podcast, when I had him as a guest on Orange Card, Blue Card, he's like, bro, I am immune to Back Alley Haymakers. I haven't been hit by a Back Alley Haymaker in months. And, you know, we saw in that first game where it's like he had to get 2 momentum and keep him on a small board, do it really fast. So going second, he's not going to have that option, really. Unless we just draw Hardened Chops. Because this is a fucker's card. You open yourself up to a lot of potential damage by blocking this attack. So, the main thing, though, is if we don't pump it, right, it's just 5, we just take 5. You gotta, most of the time with Chop, you really want to put as much damage as you can on it, make it really threatening, but early on in the game, we're happy to get that momentum regardless. And all of our foundations are pretty cool, right? All of our face-up foundations. Pretty neat. So this is the make it or break it turn, right? Kirishima hasn't gotten like a massive stage out yet. Your speed pump is at its premium. You have Electric Jolt for a stat reset to get around stun hate, or maybe Manly Passionate Guy's the target. One thing's for sure, Kirishima's not going to have like much of a card pool, right? Forcing Surrender, Manly Passionate Guy says we can block with foundations for days. Oh. Alright, I'm going to have to call Sean O'Brien. I'm going to have to ring up New York, get him on the phone, ask him what the fuck is with these 3 checks. Ask him what the fuck is going on at his provisional, man. This is ridiculous. I'm going to have to go back and like edit this video and just count every time someone checked an attack to play an attack or to block an attack. This is actually the most scuffed control checks I've seen in the finals in a while. Like, Mark Tyner checked really bad to lose that finals in Omaha, but it was like one-sided. This is both ways. Interesting choice. We partial block with a Haymaker. Huh. I was not expecting that. Huh. I guess Giggles had a bunch of attacks and didn't like them. Right? We had those attacks in our hand, and because like if you're gonna partial, you might as well build it with Manly Passionate Guy, right? If you're gonna partial, you might as well partial with the foundation so you can clear it with Forcing Surrender. Maybe. I could be talking out my ass. Double Jolt's a good setup, though. I'm a big fan of Double Jolt. Double Jolt, and there's no it can't be fixed. This has to be Midnight's game. Come on, man. You gotta get the heat. You gotta draw the gas. I don't know, man. This seems like as good as it's gonna get if you're Midnight almost. As far as like board states go. Is that triple final exam failures too? Oh, triple final. We could. Oh, he checked another attack. How? How did this happen? Who let this happen? Can someone please talk to Sean O'Brien? Can someone get me on the phone? Can we launch an investigation? I can't believe this. There's a very good chance that we poke with this lift and we survive one more turn. Blocking with attacks is kind of a good sign for that, right? Like if our Kirishima is willing to block with the hardened jab, that's cool. He doesn't have any face down attacks yet anyway, right? Like no face downs. Hasn't started to filter, cycle through the deck. Banking the lift for next turn allows for like the most explosive potential. But the likelihood that Kirishima adds threats to his board. This is what we were talking about before, right? When Satonis, when Tim Keefe first showed up. I never know which names to use. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know if people want like their username used or not. But so we were talking about that earlier, right? When we were watching the Tim Keefe game, where it's like you get to this turn where you don't want to give your opponent another turn because they have plenty of resources and damage pump to absolutely just smear you on the pavement, but you're also in a pretty good position defensively, and you don't have the best hand possible. You've got a good hand, you've got a poke hand, but you don't have lethal. You almost like your chances of having lethal are like 1%, right? Especially in a format where every card has a block. There used to be times where in Universes, UFS, people would draw cards on defense a lot. And the potential that you ended up drawing a non-block was at least existent. It at least was a chance, right? It was higher than 0. Oh, wait, I missed it. Jeffrey Giggles checked a 5 to play an attack. Let's go. How about that? Wait, no, did he? Wait, I could be wrong. He could have destroyed that to put it on top of his deck. Oh, no, he didn't. He checked a 4. I'm full of shit. He checked a 4. Alright, well. It do be like that. So this is for 9. I think we take this, right? This is like the diamond hands moment for Midnight. This is where we got to leverage our health total a bit, and if he is going to deal the rest of this damage, it's going to require like a string and take resources and stuff like that. If we block now, we get rid of an attack for next turn for basically free, and then we are also still more vulnerable to the other attacks that are coming. And because of cards like Homage and Tight-Lipped and things like that, there's no guarantee that like Chop is going to be one of the higher damage attacks, right? Like Smash does more damage, Back Alley Haymaker does the same damage, Hardened Frenzy does the same damage, right? So it's really not something we can afford to block yet. Especially without, like, a passing the torch symbol. Come on. Not blowing the jolts early here is kind of interesting because I do think that we have a good grip of orange, I think, right? At least 2 of those 4, I believe, are orange, like a double jab. Oh, one's a breaker, though. Okay, interesting. I don't hate it, right? Midnight has crazy good filter, so I don't hate it. All right, and now we get to save the jolts for purely defensive pieces. Okay. Like, my dumbass would have been popping it off a little early to make them rethink their choices a little bit. But it's not a momentum hate symbol either, so it's not like I have a chance of getting captured evildoers. Capture evildoers? CED? None of those work. Huh. I'm just going to say captured. Have my momentum captured by evildoer? That doesn't work either. All right. Anyhow. Giant ice wall. You can tell because it's 5 difficulty. Gonna commit down the stun hate. They will get the bonus foundation from It Can't Be Fixed, but 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 puts us further into deadlock. Just in case we need those deadlock threats. I think you're gonna know when Scott feels like they have game in their hand because they're gonna flip final exam. There it is. We're gonna flip final exam failures, right? And you're gonna have to make a control check against a difficulty of 6, and if you fail it, you destroy a ready foundation. And so Giggles is gonna opt to destroy the ready one, I believe, in an attempt to get out of deadlock, right? We're at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're at 10 now. This one we're gonna commit. Right? We're going to commit. Yep, we're going to keep that. We commit one that draws us a card. Super interesting. But Tutoring Kirishima, not the most relevant card. Not like the super... Or not like it's not a blank card, as what I meant to say. Drawing a card, maybe not the most relevant effect, but it is interesting. Going to spend some momentum. We're going to really push into this board here. We have foundations to give speed on everything. Putting stun 2 on indiscriminate, always delicious. I'm going to seal 2. Okay. I'm here for it. Yep, get that bonus speed. Now we've unlocked Stronger in Darkness damage as well. So we're going to get +3/+3 to basically everything. Ooh, we thought about it. Because the stun. We were forced to use You're So Obvious way early because A, we had a bad block mod, and B, because of the implication. Giving that bonus stun. Love that. Checks another attack. My goodness. I thought we were finally away from it. I thought we were in the clear. I thought this nightmare of orange checks was over. So we have a stun 2 and a stun 1 on 1.3 million. Gonna count up to a gazillion. Now, can Kirishima respond on this? I don't think so. Yeah, because it's 17. So even if we round down, it's not going to help us. We are going to get the foundation here. It gets stunned. Probably looking for a +1 low block that doesn't exist. But the midnight speed, a plus ultra doesn't do it. A +1 low block doesn't do it. Yeah, we get a bonus speed from spending the momentum. Okay, I dig it. Wait. 17. Isn't it 8.5? It goes down to 6? Do I have the health wrong? 16. Oh, the top had him at 7 already. Huh. Oh. Well, I was looking at the wrong health, fellas. My bad. That's on, that's on me, guys. That one's on me. Oh, I skipped past the next attack. Yeah. So then he just plays the ice wall out, and we know the low zone is open. We know low is open now. We don't have the response. But yeah, that was a little confusing because I was looking at the 7 health the whole time. Huh. Yeah, that changes things a lot, I guess, if I'm thinking like Kiroshima's at 7 versus 17. But Midnight manages to take game 2. We had the jolt for the answers, right, to get through the stun. Giving the stun 2 to 1.3 million gave it an additional speed from Midnight, which is just super cool. Just a really neat little bonus, from the deck. Once we get their life total low enough, right? Like that's like extra momentum we get to spend for cute stuff like that. Also mattered because the Kiroshima enhance. Kiroshima got to effectively ready one of those foundations stunned out, and we had an extra one little stun to just ping it down for free, just in case for some reason we had to fight through a whole bunch more progressive difficulty or a longer string. So really well played by both players. There's only so much you can do, right, once you've pressed all your buttons. Kiroshima did look like he was about to climb back into that game, though, especially with like a high enough health total, you got to kind of feel a little safe. But these massive staging areas may be coming back to haunt him against 1.3 million. I know most people already know the finale, the conclusion to this, so it's tough to to try and build suspense up for it, but it's been pretty cool. It's been pretty interesting to watch 2 6-handers in the finals. We pretty much have only had 6-handers in finals, I think, for like Momo versus Momo, which is hardly a 6-hander versus a 6-hander. Midnight, not really built to like get a ton of card advantage, and Kiroshima again doesn't really like add too much, right? We filter, we stay neutral. We lose one, we gain one type of stuff. I guess Haymaker draws. Haymaker and Jab. We got a few cards that can cantrip. Sliding, shuffling, cutting, mulliganing, sending one back. Which I hate sending one back in real life so much. Shuffling one card, like shuffling my whole deck for one card is just like, alright, I guess we have to. We got the cool orange shirt with the black leather jacket versus the granddad sweater. Yeah, imagine using fetch lands. Imagine fetch lands at your fucking weeklies. Oh man. Or Pokemon. Pokemon search your deck for one card a lot. Okay, Midnight goes second, gets a decent build out here, but Brute Strength can start putting some dents in these life totals early if you feel really good about your early pokes. But double first day of class, that's probably what you want to see as Midnight. I don't know if it's the most important foundation in this matchup or in the deck, but saw that do all kinds of work early on in this top cuts. Gonna take the jab to the face. We don't have the mid block, right? Or we're saving it. It looks like we have high and low. Looks like we just ended up holding like a 2-diff, right? Like our 2-diff just happened to have a low block. Or no, that's frozen? That's frozen, not irrefutable. So I think it's Ice Wall and frozen. It could be Ice Storm. If it was Ice Storm, I would have thrown it on the... Oh, double frenzy. We hate that. And we checked an attack to block again. Frenzy has, I believe, just Fury and Kick as keywords. So, also notably, the least speed reduction you get from using your character. Go ahead and takes it. Alright. We're trading this life total because we want to get on the board sooner than later. We saw in game 1 that we just kind of got choked and strangled out, and, you know, giving him this extra ramp for our... Oh, wait. I thought we were going to take it, but... Oh, you check a 3. Come on. What is in the water in Rochester, man? It's the garbage plate's fault. And this is how Kirishima gets you. This right here, we check 2 3s, and it's like turn 2, and our opponent has a chance of failure, but they don't. They really don't, because we cleared our card pool because you blocked. We replaced the foundation because we, you know, didn't check perfect ourselves. And now we get to dump down Berserker Blow, which you can't block. You have no cards in hand, which means you're going to lose a resource too, which I recover from better because I'm Kirishima and I'm on the play. And it's targeted. You get to choose. And we still had a foundation ready. We still had a foundation ready to pass that. That was like such a normal, like simple little poke turn that just became double frenzy into Berserker Blow. Like, that was so insane. Like, that's the... When people talk about the Kirishima, like, turn 2... They talk about, like, him having these incredible turn 2s. Like, that's exactly what they're talking about. And we had Faith Shield for the throw. We had all the answers game 3. This is a Kirishima blowout at this point. Orange is in the water. So Syracuse Orange is coming up to Rochester, man. I don't know geography. Syracuse might be farther north, but I think Rochester is near Canada, so I'm assuming it's further south. Oh, and Chop is what you want to see. Chop, your opponent's in the red zone. Chop is gonna be lethal, right? Like, no matter. Oh man, with no damage reduction. We only have 3 cards in hand. We have no struggling with studies. We have no breaker. We have no card draw. We have no bitches. I think we have no chance. Oh, we do have breaker. Okay. We used our breaker last time, but then we're going to discard here. I mean, you have to block it. We discard a high block, right? Like, I'm assuming that's a mid, but everything Kirishima can throw now is just another chop. If he has a low block, I will fucking jump out of my fucking seat. If he doesn't just scoop this up because he doesn't have a low block. Oh, he can throw it away. Oh! God. Damn. Double chop. Draws the high block. Alright, I'm going to have to go look at this deck list for Scott. If there's not 22 high blocks on it, I will be amazed. This man only ever had high blocks. So, when you're blocking down this chop, right? Right? It's just so easy, right? Like, this is for the purposes of teaching, and it's so easy to sit in this seat and do this, but for the purposes of going back watching it, right? You can throw away these other 2 cards. It's a mid block and a high block to try and find the low, and then you partial block the next chop, and you at least have a chance of forcing him to have something. Because if you... And what did he check, actually? Oh, he checked the low, too, right? There was a low on top. So that's, like, not really part of the discussion, because this is hindsight. But your chances of discarding 2, drawing 2 to find 1 low block is so much better than discarding 1 and drawing 1 to find a low block. And so at the same time, like, you just gotta think, like, we've already seen 2 chops. Like, it's statistically not the most likely card, but you have to block this, and taking half damage from it means you have to have 2 perfect blocks, right? You have to have a perfect block for every other attack after that now. Whereas if we find 1 perfect block now, you know, you get at least some opportunity to survive. Hey, there's Sean right now. Look at him in his handsome university shirt. We got the 24/7 belt, which Dan Hughes, congratulations on ending up with, I just found out. Giggles gets to take the victory lap. It's all smiles here in the universe's community, man. What an absolutely just cracked deck. Like, that was not what I'd put my money on, right? Like, if you asked me, how do I think that this matchup's going to go? How do I think this tournament is going to be won? I don't think I ever had... I don't think I ever had this turn. This is the turn, right? This is the 28 to 7. So, like, this is Kirishima's strength, I think, personally. I think this is why most people like to play Kirishima, too, obviously. You play jab, you get an additional foundation. So we only had a 3 build, but our opponent opts to take this one because we just don't have the right block zone. It's not the attack we're afraid of anyway, so we take it, and that's fine. And then we block this frenzy because we've already seen the jab. It's not likely that they're gonna get to just pick it back up, and that's fine. This is like a risk that I think you should take most of the time. You block this frenzy because there's not gonna be like other high attacks. But then we had a second frenzy, and then things got really bad. But here's the most important part. Even though we checked an attack here, here's the most important part, is when we get to Kirishima in hands. Because we started with 3 foundations. We have 5 foundations now. 2 of them were committed. Now only 1 of them's committed. And if our opponent wants to take no damage from this, then we're going to have 5 ready foundations again. We're going to double our foundation count, or we're going to take a third of your health away. Like, we got the sick brute strength plays coming in. And then this is the variance, this is the RNG. This is the nail in the coffin, actually. This is your, like, play of the game. Scott checking a 3 to block with a breaker 1, which would have tapped out Kirishima if he wanted to play this attack, which he almost certainly would not have wanted to, right? Like, checking a 4 there changes so much. Or maybe not 4, maybe with the progressive it would have had to be a 5. But yeah, that's the entire tempo swing, is Giggles being ready, seeing the last card go out, getting lucky, right? Like getting the bad check, and then having the card to capitalize and having the foundations to do so. And what a fucking great card to do it with, right? Like, Berserker Blow, probably something he drew later anyway, but also something that's just like way better later. And getting to snipe the specific foundation you want, just huge. He didn't have like the best choices on board either, but like getting rid of final exam failures means you can kind of stay on top of your resource game a bit. So yeah, I think choosing to commit super regen over Kirishima's right there. But that's the massive tempo swing, just like one control check, right? Like, we didn't have a mid block, we had 2 highs, it's just sort of what we're left with. That's our level 0, that's what we're left with. So we did the right thing. We said, here's a high attack, we're just going to put a high block on it. And unfortunately, because the orange juice out in Rochester is just cursed or something, we checked only 3s. So yeah, and then double chop. What do you do against double chop? You just die. You die with no cards in hand. Like, it's just so rough, man. And yeah, I really wonder. I don't think much changes, right? Because you're on the slimmest margins possible. All Giggles needs is like the 3rd attack, even still. But filtering 2 here instead of partialing and then filtering 1, I think, might be the difference. Especially since we know that his entire attack lineup ramps him foundations, It's basically just Texas that doesn't. Yeah. What can you do against double chop, man? Checks 3s and 4s and it's all right. Yeah, there it is. Giggles is like in disbelief. He's like, I can't believe it. You just got in there. Look at that. Got the belt and everything. Well, that was a very exciting matchup. I'm glad that you guys checked it out with me. I didn't get a chance to watch it over the weekend, so I figured I should at least check out the Top Cuts matches. I did get to see a bunch of Swiss, so hopefully you enjoyed watching it along with me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching it live on Sunday. You know, the handsome broadcast of Tamron Cardwell and Nilmerg was absolutely a joy, right? Like just two of the most pleasant people in the community. But I digress. We'll get into Sweet Nothings all night if that's where we go. But I'm gonna take off. That's where I'm going with this. I'm gonna take off. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I hope you share, like, subscribe, check out the YouTube, check out the Twitch, you know, wherever you're watching this at. I'm going to plug these in my chat real quick. But yeah, I had a lot of fun watching it, and I cannot wait to watch the regional this weekend. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.